Good morning, everyone. Are you fearless this morning? I'm excited. We have a full show for you guys this morning. We're listening to Fearless by Jasmine Murray. Good morning, good morning. Hey, Shamel, good morning. You know it. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to It's Time with Keandra Ward. I'm excited. It's been a long weekend, but I'm excited to be on with you guys. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. I spent my weekend at the Diamonds Unveiled Retreat here in Bradenton, Florida, which is not far from the Tampa Bay area. It was an amazing weekend of just spending time in God and spending time with God and being out in nature. It was absolutely amazing. So I am rested and I am ready. So yes, listen, one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys is you have to take the time for yourself. I realized this weekend that your personal time is so important. No matter what you do in life, that time that is designed for you and God or you in sleep, whatever it is, you have to get that personal time so that you can be fueled and be able to serve the people that you're called to serve. So just as an introduction, my name is Keandra. I am the owner of the Bomb Mentoring Group, Bold Operations for Managing Business, where we help purpose-driven entrepreneurs navigate through the crossroads of entrepreneurship. Essentially, when you're stuck in business, that's when they call us. That's pretty much how it goes. So really excited to be here. Now, if you know me in any way, shape, form, or fashion, you know that I have been on a journey of self-discovery, a journey of business, a journey of life, and really looking at how to, I'm not going to say balance, but how to make sure that I am flowing effectively in every area of my life. That's family, that's business, that's finances, in every area of my life. And so today I wanted to bring a guest on that's what she does. She helps people understand how to manage their money and how to be wise with their money. Now, it's okay to manage it, but you need to be wise at what you're doing. You know, sometimes I think that it's wisdom more so than management that we need because we have an understanding. And a lot of times we're not wise with things because we haven't sought and got an understanding on what we're supposed to do with our time, our money, our resources, all of those things. So we are not going to belabor too much of the time. I do a hot topic. For the last week, I haven't even watched the news or watched TV, so I don't know what's going on out there. I have been seeking God for myself, so I don't know what the hot topic is going to be money today. How about that? So let's talk about that. If you're on with us, tell me what's your relationship with money? Because I do believe that in every area of our life, we form relationships around things. And for me, hot topic wise, my relationship around money was not good at one point. It was, oh, I'm feeling sad, I'm going to go spend. Oh, I feel like I'm a mother, I'm a caregiver, I'm doing all this, I deserve this. Well, that's not necessarily true. It was just that I wanted to do something that made me feel good, but was it good for my household? Was that something that we needed to do right then? It's not that I couldn't do it, but was it something that I needed to do right at that moment? So my relationship with money was really an emotional relationship. And Shamel says that money used to tell me where to go instead of me telling it where to go. Oh, that's good, Shamel. Your money told you where to go, huh? I know that's right. Let me tell you where my money told me to go just recently, and I probably didn't need to go there. So my money told me that I needed some crab legs at like 3:00 in the afternoon. And I really didn't, because I had a refrigerator full of food and leftovers. And I really didn't need to get in my car and first of all, put gas in the car to take the drive to go the 30 to 40 minute ride to get the crab legs to come back. So I definitely understand. I realized at that point, I was like, once I got it and I was driving home and I was like, you didn't even need to do that. You didn't need to do that. Shamel says, I just told my friend weeks ago, I am an emotional shopper. I've been an emotional shopper. I know some people say that they're emotional eaters, but I've been an emotional shopper. I have done that. I have, when I'm sad or when I'm angry, I'll leave and go. And you know what I found? That I don't even have to go to the department store. I would go to the dollar store. It's still shopping and I still didn't need it. So I'm really excited today just to kind of hash through those things and talk through those things. So let me not belabor the time, as I said, and let's introduce our guest for today. Now, I have not memorized the bio, so you guys know I'm going to read it because I want to make sure that I give her the justice that is due and I'm not skimming anything. So Merrie is the CEO of Money Management Wisdom, a company that provides personal finance education through workshops and one-on-one consultation. The company's mission is to educate and inspire individuals to manage their money in a manner that allows them to reach their financial goals and walk in their purpose for fully through intentional spending, I like that, saving and giving. Merrie holds an MBA and is certified educator of personal finance. She is the author of Money Management Wisdom for Millennials, a personal finance book for young adults, and is working on her second book, Money Management Wisdom, 8 Steps to Living Your Best Financial Life. Merrie is an active member of the First Baptist Church of Progress Village, where she leads the financial wellness ministry and teaches Sunday school for high school and young adults. She is married with 2 millennial-aged children, and Merrie has 1 grandson and another grandson on the way. Let's welcome her. So let's give her a warm welcome as she joins us here on It's Time. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We are so excited to have you on with us today. So let's just get started. How did your relationship with money start?
Well, I've always had a pretty good relationship with money, but that came out of really having no money growing up. And I decided I wanted to have a different life than my upbringing, just scrimping and scraping and barely making, my parents barely making, rent money and having to move because we're dodging the rent man or what have you. So I wanted to do things a little differently. And then as I came into adulthood and I started working in different ministries and different areas, I've always gravitated for some reason toward the younger generation and into a mentoring capacity. So when I was in the Navy, I was supervisor over several, at the time we would call them millennial-aged kids. And they always seem to struggle with this money thing or making bad decisions and going into debt at such a young age and just starting out on the wrong foot. And then even in my church ministry, I work with young adults and same thing. And even on my job, I have about 60% millennials that work for me. And some of them come through my office and they have issues, and some of them are financial, and just trying to just see how they're struggling in that area. That was the catalyst for me to write the book. And then from the book, things, kind of evolved from there.
Down there. So where do you think people, their mindset around money begins?
It actually starts when you're young and with your parents and your environment. That kind of develops what your money type will be in a lot of cases. If you have parents or in an environment where everything goes, doesn't matter. There's no budget. We get what we want. We charge you, go into debt. And then that you kind of pick up those habits. And then in some aspects, you can go totally opposite, which is what I did. Where they come from meager beginnings, and then you want to do things differently. So people's attitudes and relationships, and it can also, and I heard in your intro, you guys were talking about money was emotional and your relationship with money. That also kind of develops, how you behave, how you spend, how you give or not give. So there's a lot of things involved in developing our money personality per se.
I like that. You know what? And I realized too, that in one season of my life, I was such a giver.
Mm-hmm.
Not only in ministry, but in life, I was such a giver with my money. And then there was a season where that stopped.
Yes.
You know, it was like, if I had it, I had this motto: if I have it, you have it. And
right.
then there was a season where it was like, I'm not giving anybody anything. You know what I'm saying? It was like, because it started getting tight for me. And so my giving got tight because I was tight, when in actuality, it should have been the other way around. I feel.
I mean, I agree with you, because when you're a giver in general, then you're going to extend that to your finances and your resources and whatever you have. And that's why it's so important to use wisdom. And part of wisdom, I call them the 3Ds of, everybody's wisdom. Yeah, you got to have wisdom. But what is that? Like, yeah. So I have like the 3Ds of wisdom, which are discipline, discernment, and discretion. So let's use that. So if you're a giver, you have, at some point, you have to discern, what to give, when to give, and how to give. And giving people will just, like you said, like you just give everything. But the downside to that is that you have to discern when people are taking advantage of your money type, taking advantage of your giving, or playing on your guilt, or playing on your gift of being a giver. And that's where the wisdom come in. And then you go into a different season, like you said, okay, I'm done. There's a wisdom. It's like, okay, we got to regroup and find out who, what, why, and where we're going to give.
Absolutely. That's really good. And I think that you do have to go through that process with giving, the 3Ds. That's really, really good. I've never even thought about that, because there was a time, where I'm like, they're coming to me because they know I got it. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, wait a minute, God didn't tell me to do that.
Right.
So, you go through those things. When we get with the millennials, we have to think that our millennial generation, they're on phones all the time. They're doing so many things. They're traveling, and they're not afraid to jump, but I don't always know if they're thinking about the financial repercussions of what they do. I think, everybody can be like that, but when it comes to our millennials and really setting them up for success, what ideas or what things would you say to millennials?
Well, the first thing, and this is what we do, is you have to provide education and inform them of some of the decisions that you're making today they're going to put you in a situation that's going to be hard to dig out of later. And what the situation that they're in now is not totally their fault, because they're coming out, of school, they have all this debt. So they're delayed because their finances are restricted. They're delayed in becoming adults. You have a great percentage of millennials still living at home, not because they want to, but because they have to. And so they're a little delayed. They're delayed in developing, in building their families and pursuing their dreams. But by the same token, even though they have those issues, a lot of them, and I don't want to say, all of them, but some of them have the mentality like, what is it? It's YOLO. You only live once. Like, let's get it popping. Let's do it, and they're no way thinking about, oh, I better put some money back for my retirement. One day I'm going to get old. They're not thinking that. And so that's what I do in the book. I try to have them change their mindset to where you can still have a good time and enjoy life, but there are some things that you have to be prepared for. And if you don't prepare, if you don't do the things that's necessary, so when it comes time for you to retire, you may be one of those ones who have to get a second job, where you see people working at, the Walmart or whatever, not because they want to. Some of them, yes, they're out because they want to be social, but a lot of people that are working in those types of jobs after they're senior citizens, it's because they have to. They didn't prepare. But when you're young, you're not thinking, in the future. So I try to get them to change their mindset and look forward and have some foresight, which is another aspect of wisdom. You have to have foresight into situations, knowing if I do this, here are the consequences.
These are the consequences of what I do. And a lot of times, I know that we know the consequences sometimes, but because we're emotional shoppers or emotionally driven, we kind of pretend as though the consequence isn't there. So how do you manage or show or teach people, or even talk to people on that level? Like, I know the consequences of me spending this money right now when I know I don't need to.
Mm-hmm. That's where, again, we go back to wisdom. There's three barriers that I consider to people having financial wellness, and with the younger generation in particular, there's a lack of self-control or lack of discipline, and there's procrastination, and there's something I call comparative influences. If we can, comparative influence is pretty much the modern day show and tell, which is your Facebook. So when you start comparing yourself to what others are doing and what others have, then, there's a tendency to buy into that. Well, I'm lacking. I need to do that. I want to go on vacation too. I want to do this, that, or the other. So we need to try to get the younger generation and ourselves past those three barriers, and then again, practice the art of discipline. And sometimes it's really hard to teach. You just really have to tell. And those are some things that people have to actually hit the brick wall a couple of times with their head before they wake up and realize, hey, I got to try something different.
Wow. So when it comes to, so I'm coming to you and I'm ready to begin to manage my money. I'm ready to look at it a different way. What's one of the first things that we discuss or talk about?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is kind of look at your overall, and this is what we do in my one-on-one consultation. Someone comes to me and we're going to sit down, we're going to look at their total financial picture. And I will tell people, you have to be honest with me as to where you are so that I can develop a plan or help you come up with a definite plan to follow. And then I get into the social, the aspect, the emotional aspect of it. And I ask them hard questions like, why do you do this? Why do you feel like you have to buy this, that, or the other? Why do you feel like you have to shop every Saturday, which was one of my things when my daughter was still living at home? That was an emotional thing for me. That was something we did together. So it became emotional and relational for us to get up every Saturday morning and go shopping. So I try to get to the bottom of why people are exhibiting the behaviors that they are. Or if they know they're in debt, a lot of times they come because they're in debt and they're just trying to figure out how to get out of it, or they have bad credit. So we try to address the behaviors that put them in those particular situations first, because if you don't get that, if they don't have an understanding of how they got where they are or what their emotional connection is to that, they're just going to repeat those behaviors and they're never going to get out of that situation.
Oh, I like that. The first thing is you have to address the behavior.
Absolutely.
Now, Go ahead. Go ahead. You have to do what?
Yeah, you're right. You have to address it. And it's like with any other issue, you have to acknowledge it. So once you acknowledge it, then we can begin to take steps to create a plan to help you move forward in a positive way.
Yeah. A lot of times we don't like to address when we have issues, or we don't look at spending as an issue until, a friend of mine said one day that she got tired of walking up her stairs and peeping around to see if that yellow notice was on the door. And I think we've all been there. And some, you're tired of peeping out the window to see if they're coming to turn off the electric or something like that. And then those are, sometimes it's things that are out of our control. But sometimes that happens because we did have control over our money and we chose not to. I realized, I told someone the other day that it came to a point in my life where I realized I did not have a problem making money. I had a problem keeping money.
That's so true. That's the key, because a lot of people think, well, if I had this level of salary, or if I made this much money, I would be doing okay. No, you won't, because it's not about how much you make. It's about your behavior with money. So until you change your behavior, you can have $1 million and you're still going to be in trouble if you don't know how to spend it intentionally, if you don't know where to assign it to go, and if you don't have the right attitude about it. And one of the things I find is when people discover the true purpose of them having money, then things start to get better. Like, we have to explain stewardship. we have to explain the overall picture of why you're here, why God allows you to have blessings, to be a blessing to others. So that's a hard concept for people to understand, especially in this day and age when everybody's like, give me mine, I'm going to get mine. It's all about me. I need to have 6 streams of income. I need to do, if that's another thing, them 6 streams of income, you're going to be tired, Find out what you do, what God wants you to do financially. Focus on that, and that will flourish and grow, because He don't want you tired and always running here and there and taking from your family to try to find those 6 or 7 streams of income. That's just my little spiel on that. But anyway.
And God will have you have to know where He has you, and when you're in His will for your life, and you're doing what He's called you to do, then He does. You have to understand you may not need 2-3 jobs. You may only need that one. But
right.
Even in that, you have to be a steward. And I realized that emotionally, I also let that affect me. Where it was like, I ain't tithing over here because they're getting on my nerves. I'm not doing this. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. I'm not doing that because I ain't doing right with it anyway. And it would be like, that is not what we are supposed to do. It is not, God, the word tells us to give. He didn't tell us to judge what would happen to our giving, and so, as I mature in my walk, that's something I had to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was just right before we came on, I was looking on my timeline, and there's a guy called named Walter Bond, and I seen him in person. I went to an accounting conference through my job, and he was happened to be a guest speaker. But he's a big motivational speaker and used to play professional basketball. But he was talking about giving and being, a giver in general, and how God will bless you when we have to become less stingy and less selfish, and realize that everything and all that we have is because of God. And He wants you to do certain things. When I say intentional saving, intentional giving, intentional spending, we have to do everything on purpose, because we have a purpose. And when you find out what that purpose is, you're spending all your the aspects of what you're doing will become more clear, and you'll be able to understand, like, okay, so it's not about me. It's not about all that I can get and all this. It's about what I can give. Because here's the key. When you're giving, guess other people are giving. So if everybody's a giver, it's going to come back to you some kind of way, some shape, form, or fashion. All your needs, everything is going to be taken care of. But that's a hard concept for people to understand, is the giving aspect of money management. And, they think, well, how can I be a giver? I'm struggling. I'm in debt. I'm this, that, or the other. And yes, it's hard. And a lot of people get discouraged because they can't meet the 10% threshold or whatever, and I always tell people, okay, yeah, we know that God has a standard or a guideline of 10%. But here's the thing. You have to focus on your relationship first with God, and, and His grace and forgiveness and all those things, and the goodness and His favor. And once you start focusing on that, then giving becomes less of a challenge for you, as opposed to being legalistic and say, I can't fit that in my budget. You start with the little that you have, and once you start making moves with managing your money properly, you will see how that will grow, and you'll be able to give in the manner that you want to give. So that's a whole different spectrum of the money.
It's needed. Yep, it's still needed. It's still needed, because we have to manage our money inside and outside of the church. I mean, to those who are with God or walk with God, and those who don't, we have to understand that there are rules around us managing our money. And a lot of times I realize that sometimes we don't like to have rules. We don't like to operate in rules. So it's like managing the money. And for me, I started working at a salon when I was 14 years old. So I started making money, a lot of money at that time, at a very young age. So by the time I was 18, I was a saver, but I never budgeted. I never pulled out a budget sheet because I didn't need to, because I had enough to pay all of my bills. And then I had a whole lot extra every month. So it was like, there was no need to put a budget and make sure, I just put what I wanted in savings. I did all that. but I never managed, like I never had a grip on managing it. And I didn't realize it wasn't until 4 years ago where my mentor in hair at the time, he was like, hey, do you realize if you go back, you have probably made $1 million at least one time in this time you've been doing this, but you would have never known that because you didn't manage it to know. You know what I'm saying? Although I had it, it was crazy.
Exactly. People underestimate the power of the budget. And because they think it's a bad word, they think it's going to restrict them, that they won't be able to do the things. But a budget is just simply a plan. And if you're going anywhere, you have to have a plan. You have to have a roadmap. And the type of budget that I teach is called the $0 budget. I first heard of it through Dave Ramsey, but it works because what you're doing is you're taking your money and you're assigning it a slot to everything. Once you identify what your goals are, then you're going to build your budget around your goals. Now, people say, oh, yeah, I have goals. I want to do this. I want to pay off my house. I want to, save for retirement. I want to buy a new car. But your budget, the way that you're spending doesn't reflect that you're on your way to meeting your goals because your money's everywhere. And like you said, when you were 14, you were making money and then you had money left over. Well, in the $0 budget, there's no leftover money. You're going to assign that money to go somewhere.
I love it.
You keep track of it, and another young lady I heard in the introduction was saying her money was telling her where to go. And the biggest thing we have is debt. When you're doing your budget, you have to assign a portion to paying off your debt. Debt is the thing that is keeping us from reaching our goals. Because think about this. If you think about all the credit cards you're paying off and whatever debt you have, the amount of money that you're putting toward that each month, imagine investing that money in a Roth IRA or your 401k or investing it in mutual funds. And in 10, 20 years. Now, here's the thing. When people start about 25, I try to tell young people, start right away. Just chunk away $200, $150, whatever. After 35, 40 years, they're going to have close to $1 million if the market continues to do as well as it has over the long run. So, everybody say, I want to be a millionaire, and they're looking for that quick, fast way to make money with the Bitcoins. I'm not into Bitcoins. People are, but, I'm whatever you do. But with the fast money, and the Bible tells us fast money really is not the way to go. It's slow and steady is a smart and wise thing to do. Look at the ants, how they prepare, for the future and all of that. And so, the budget is extremely important, and people really need to get on board with this budget thing because that's your plan. You have to have a plan for your money. Just like you plan for everything else, you have to have a plan for your money.
I think that's so important. And for us here, I do my IRAs. I'm an investor, and I also am a trader. So a lot of times with day trading, it's fast. Right. What I've decided is that just like the word says, slow and steady. So I compound mine. So I have so much that I do a day so that I'm managing it properly, because in everything we can kind of get so extra and be risky traders or risky investors. But I've learned, and that's another thing that I wanted to talk about, not only just in trading or investing, but in life risk management.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you have to identify. Now, I'm not against anyone who does the stocks and trading and all that, because we all have our thing, that we're good at. But each individual has to identify and feel comfortable with what their risk level is when it comes to investing. You have people who are, okay, I'm willing to do this. Let's go for it. And you have other people who are more reserved, and everybody has their plan and their way that's comfortable for them. My thing is, do something. Don't do anything, do something that's in line with your comfort level, to make money, or have your money make money for you. So I tell people, don't look at somebody because they're doing one thing that may not be for you. Something else might be for you, but you have to do something. You can't put your money in the bank in just a plain old savings account, which is getting like 0.1 something. Return on investment. You're not going to get anywhere with that. So you have to participate in some type of investment. find the investment that fits your risk tolerance and go with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we look at our budgeting, so we get to the place where you were saying that it's the $0 budgeting, you budget for your goals. So with that type of budget, once I reach that goal, am I going back and redefining my budget every time?
Well, your budget you're going to have to tweak your budget because situations change. Okay. So if you pay off, say if one of your line items is going toward your debt, and once you pay that off, then you're going to assign that money to somewhere else, whether it's going to be towards your savings or towards your investment, whatever. We just don't want to have money free flowing anywhere because you can lose track of money that's just free flowing. You get paid, you feel like you paid all your bills. And that's one of the things with some of the average everyday people, they get paid because they're paying their bills and they're making their monthly payments. I'm good. Well, no, that's living paycheck to paycheck. You're not good. You need to live beneath your means because you need that extra to put towards your goals. I mean, your goal is not, you can pay your light bill or whatever. That's a necessity. But we're talking about your goals that's going to take some time. You want to buy that house, you want to go on that vacation, whatever it is. You want to put your kids through college, you want to retire. Those are the goals that where all that extra that you're living beneath your means, that you're realizing that extra, that's what all that is going to go toward.
Wow.
And the $0 budget is just that. If you're making $5,000 a month, your monthly budget should be zero. That entire $5,000 has to have a home to go to in your budget so that you're at zero. And if you say, well, if I'm at zero, where's my fund money? Your fund money is built into your budget. It's one of your line items. Yes.
I like that. So all of your money needs a home.
Yes. Yes.
I don't think all my money has a home. I don't think I've thought about that. All my money needs a home.
Yes. Yes.
Now I work in my budget every month. So I do my budget and so if it's the 24th, I'm doing my budget around that time for the next month. So I kind of am ready. And then I know what weeks look a little negative and a little positive. So I know how to save throughout the month. Right. But I don't think I've ever made sure that each dollar that comes in has a home. Even if it's fun money, even if it's, I have a 16-year-old or soon to be 16-year-old who's extremely active. So I have to make sure that that's a line item for the things that, he needs. And then my savings, my trading, all that that makes sense.
It makes sense. Yes, you have to have a home because here's the thing. It keeps you from going outside of your goals too. Like, say your 16-year-old, she's got things coming up, dues, whatever. You budget for that. So, and the other thing is we need to share this budget and what we're doing with our family so that they understand with our children. So you can say, what's your daughter's name?
Aya.
As we say, Aya, okay, this is what we budgeted for what you got going on this month. So when Aya comes to you after you've already budgeted, well, Mom, I need money because, we're going to the movies or whatever. Sweetie, that was not in the budget. So we will not be doing that. And they start to understand how to spend wisely. So if Mom budgeted this much for me this month, oh my gosh, okay, I know that's all I have. I can't go asking her for $30 extra for this, that, or the other. Maybe we can do that next month, and maybe she'll add it to the budget. We can save here, and she can add that to the budget, and I'll do that next time. And it teaches them as they're growing up, there are limits. Money is not infinite.
Sometimes she's a little better than me, though. Sometimes I'm like, we should have Mom. Well, you said that you wanted to, and I'm like, you're right. I think we have our moments. We kind of switch back and forth. But I think, as you stated, it's very important that we begin to teach our children at a very young age the value of understanding money. See, what happens is we begin to also accumulate a fear around having money sometimes. And I found that where, like, people will get a lump sum of money. I've met people who have gotten lump sums of money, and because they didn't know how to manage it, and they were so afraid that they would mess it up that they ended up messing it up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we can't have a fear of money because we need it. We just need to know how to properly manage it.
Yes, yeah. There's no sense in being fearful of having money. If you know when people come into an inheritance or whatever, it's just like, okay, where's this money going to fit in the budget and in our goals? I mean, because like you said, if you oh my God, I got all this money, what am I going to do? Then you're chinching off of here, you're chinching off of there, and pretty soon you have nothing. If you can't figure out what to do, put it in the money market somewhere and just let it sit there till you figure out what you want to do with it or where you want to assign it, in your budget.
I love that. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the ways or places that people can put their money?
Sure. If you're employee, your employer has a 401k. For me, that's the first place you want to go. Reason being because they have the lowest fees and they are investing in mutual funds that pretty much perform pretty well. So you want to go to your 401k. If your employer doesn't have that, then you can go to your IRAs, your traditional IRAs or your Roth IRAs. This is what I do, my plan. So then when you go to your IRAs, deciding which one to go to, you have to figure out, like your tax situation. Am I being taxed higher now, or am I going to be taxed later? Because your traditional IRAs, you're not taxed on that. In your Roth IRAs, you're taxed on that because you're putting that in after taxes. You're not going to be taxed on it, or you will be taxed on it when you withdraw. So you have to figure out what your situation may or may not be, and then from there you can consult a financial planner. And I always send people to a financial planner to determine how best. And there's also the 529 plans, which are traditionally for educational purposes. But you can put money in there, and that's kind of pretty much unlimited. And you can take those funds out after 5 years for like certain things you can do, like a down payment on a home or certain situations. But otherwise, it's for educational purposes. So there's different things you can do. By me not being an investor, what I always do is refer people to a financial planner, because I don't sell financial products and insurance or anything of those nature. I just teach people what to select and what to look for when they go to talk to one of those planners. And then they can recommend different investment types or investment products that will fit your lifestyle and your particular goals.
Okay. So where can people find you? I know that you do workshops. So who do you host workshops for? What type of entities or?
Okay. So the workshops that I do quarterly, I do those as part of our financial wellness at my church. And those are open. Those are free. But anyone can come to get a taste, if you want to take it back to your church. I also do training. I've done training at Medill Air Force Base, and part of their training program, they'll call me in and do workshop or speak. I've done just churches will call and they want somebody to just do a workshop, that kind of thing. What I would like to branch off to and make more prominent are the conferences and community events. And we were speaking earlier, and I was saying about the church conferences. When we go to these church and women's conferences or what have you, they have various training and breakout sessions, how to be a good wife, how to be a good mom, or how to realize your joy and increase your faith and all of that. And we never see a breakout session on managing money God's way. And that's what I would like to see, because if you have it, money is the number one problem in families, between couples. And if that's a problem, then you're not going to have your joy. You're not going to be able to live by your faith. That's going to become a problem. You're going to be all stressed out. So money is such a part of that holistic spiritual growth that it baffles me that we don't think to put that in as a breakout session for some of these conferences that we go to. So I'm available. Call me.
Call her. I love it. And then your one-on-one session. So you do house one-on-one sessions where we can come to you. And I think a lot of times people don't want to do that because then they'd have to be open. But I know that you create a safe environment for people to be real so that they can grow.
Exactly. The number one thing that we do not do, that I do not do, is judge anybody. So, and I say that in my workshops when we start too, there's no judgment here, because, we've all been in some situation, whether it's financial or whatever, to where that we're not proud of. But if you want to get help, we do create an environment where it's comfortable. We talk one-on-one because money is emotional. So I have a series of meetings. I don't just meet with you for an hour and say, here's your situation, here's what you need to do, here's a worksheet for your budget. I don't do that because it's a process. I try to develop a relationship with the person and make them comfortable enough to want to share so that we can get down to the get down and really create a plan. So in our first meeting, it's a free 30-minute consultation where we're just meeting each other. We're talking a little bit and trying to get just a summary of, where you're trying to go and what your situation is. And then meeting number 2, which is a 2-hour meeting, we actually I give you some homework. There's some things you have to do with outlining your expenses, your debts, and things of that nature. When we come up with a budget, a preliminary budget. So that takes 2 hours for us to work through that. And then you go home and you do your work. And then about a couple of weeks later, you come back. We meet again for another hour. We see where we need to tweak. Or did you do, how'd you do here? How'd you do there? Where do we need to know? How much did you save, by doing this, that, the other? And so we keep it going like that. And then I send them back out for another. So this is like a month-long process that we do, that we're together. And then finally, when we meet for our last meeting, I actually have a written plan for them that they can follow based on the goals they said they wanted to meet, things they wanted to clean up in their area. So there's a plan and there's some suggestions on going forward on what they need to do to have continued success. So it's a series of plans that we do for the one-on-ones. I don't just, and then they can call me, for phone consultations or what have you. So I really don't let them go until they're comfortable navigating in their new plan to help them get to their goals.
Awesome. Now, let me ask you this. Some of our viewers don't live locally. So do you do this online as well? Is there a way for them to connect?
Yes, I've had a few clients that are in different states and we work everything online and phone and send them the papers that they need and so forth. So yes, I can do things online, totally, the whole program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Listen, it is so important to not only know what to do, but know who to go to help you and not be afraid of saying, I need help.
Absolutely.
Had I known you a year and a half ago, I would have been like, listen, when I saw you, I was like, oh my gosh, we have to connect because people need exactly what you have, and a lot of my work through was trial and error. It was me reading and figuring out. And, I went to a couple financial planners, but I was like, y'all not listening to me. Like, nothing.
Well, that's the thing with financial planners. God, I love them all because they provide such a wonderful service. And that's why I didn't want to go that route to actually doing the plan. I just wanted to inspire and educate. So, and then not being one to sell you products, then you're going to be more open to think that, okay, I'm in it for you. I'm not trying to get into it because at the end of our meetings, I'm going to have you buy some stocks. I'm going to have you, sign up for some insurance. And I have all of that stuff, which you need, but that's not where I'm going to take you.
Yeah. So. And that's where, but you'll get there. That's the thing. And that's why I love with what you do when they're at that place. Then you send them to the next step, which is a financial planner who can help them. But you got to get them at a place where they're comfortable because what happens in your mindset sometimes when you go to things like that and you're already seeking because you need help and then they want you to get into another plan to do something financially and you're like, it's another bill. You running, you not answering their calls and all that kind of, I've been there, done that, I think it's important because we all need the financial planner. We need the services that they offer, but we have to get our mindset as well as organize our budget to be able to understand the reasoning behind why we need them and how to put them in the budget instead of looking at them as an extra fee or, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's the same thing with, you have an overabundance, I noticed in this area of credit repair and different companies. And yes, they do provide a good service for those who don't know how or don't wish to try to handle it themselves. So I applaud that. But what I try to do is I don't want to give them a fish. I try to teach them how to fish. So I teach them how to repair your own credit, what letters you need to write. And that's all part of the whole one-on-one consultations. And we also go through that in the workshop as well. So I want people to be able to be confident in handling handling their personal financial situations. But in order to get comfortable, you have to be educated.
And most people don't want to handle their stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have clients that come to us all the time, like, I want to build my brand, but you just do it. No, ma'am. No, sir. It's yours. I will help you.
Yeah.
Give you the resources. But if I build it, then it's mine. It's not yours. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I definitely understand teaching people. And I love that, teaching you how to fish. I could fish for you.
Yes.
But that will only last so long, because once I'm gone, or once I've given you is gone, then you won't know how to sustain
exactly
your own.
Exactly.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So let's talk about your book. Do you? I know you have a copy of it.
I do. Here's my book. That might be backwards.
Wisdom for Millennials. So how can they get a copy of the book?
So the book is available in print form and ebook. Yeah, just did that last week. So it's on Amazon.com, but you can go through my website, which is linked through Amazon. I prefer they go through the website so that they can see all the other services and everything that's offered. There's also a blog on the website, but there's a link to the books. So that's where it's available. And read the blogs, and you kind of get a feel for my general mindset on different things, and see if you're comfortable with that, and of course give me a call.
Awesome. And I know that you have a giveaway, so here's what we're going to do. The way that we handle them, so that we're staying in the protocol of online, because people don't really realize that online you can't really do giveaways. By law, you're not supposed to.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
The way you're supposed to do it. You can do it, but it's a certain way you're supposed to do it. Yeah. That's where internet marketing comes in for me. So what we're going to do is, the first person that emails us at Keandra, I'm going to put it up here, at thebombmentoring.com. And I want you to email me, and I want you to post or share your number one takeaway from today. What did she say to you today that made you say, you know what? I need to contact her. I need to get my budget together. I need to look into it. What was the one thing that made you say, oh my gosh? Like for me, I'm going to tell you, it was, my money got every piece I have to have a home. I was like, every piece don't have a home. So I was running around my bank account and my house, like every piece of dime needs to have a home.
Yes.
Really amazing for me. So for you, what was your takeaway? And I also want you to share with me so that I can give it to her where you are. And so that it allows her to prepare other material to reach people exactly where they are in their needs. So remember to email me at Keandra@thebombmentoring.com. And then once we pick a winner, I'll make sure that Miss Allen gets it, and you all will get a copy of her book. Yes. So listen, if you're not a millennial, I bet you stuff in there that you can use. And then I need you to share it with the millennial after.
Yes.
And then you're writing another book, right? I'm
writing another book. Yes. It's Money Management Wisdom, 8 Ways to Live in Your Best Financial Life. I want to say living your best life, but I threw financial in there because it is going to be financial. My son always say, when I call him, because he's in the Navy, I say, what you doing, son? Oh, living my best life. I said, oh, I like that. So yes, that one, I'm working on that, and hopefully I'll be done with that in a few months, and we'll be promoting that one. But that's for everybody. But the Money Management Wisdom for Millennials is also for everyone. The concepts are in there, is across the board. The book was written for millennials because I felt there was a need I needed to address, but everybody can use the principles that are in this book. It works for everybody. I just did a little millennial speak and some millennial, stories and things of that nature.
I absolutely love it. So we talked today about the 3 Ds of wisdom. We talked, so if you're just reaching us or watching the end of the broadcast, I need you to go all the way back and listen, If you have comments, please make sure you still comment on there. We will get them to you. The video will be live on the It's Time Keandra Ward page for about 24 hours, and then it'll be on the YouTube page. But you guys will know that we'll have everything posted because I want you guys to get this information. Remember, the opportunity for the giveaway ends at the end of the show. So once the show is over, if you haven't emailed us, sorry, you gotta show up, and you gotta show up on time. That's what my grandmother used to say. You gotta show up on time, and you just have to act. I think sometimes we hesitate on acting, but what we need to understand is that opportunity comes when we act immediately.
Right.
We always try to wait. We always try to wait and see what happens. But no, I have turned my life into an action-driven life. If you tell me to do something and it's something I want, I'm probably going to do it right then. So what would be your last takeaway that you would want to tell our audience just about anything, about money management, about being wise with our money? What would you like them to know?
Well, what I would like everyone to know is that, whatever situation you're in, financially speaking, it's not the end all. I don't care how much debt you have. It can be addressed. You can do this. You can work the principles that I list in the book, or just use wisdom, your discretion, your, discipline, and it's particularly the discernment to find out where it is that you need to be going in your finances. And then also, if you have debt, and I always harp on debt because that is such a huge part. It's an opportunity cost for us, because once we get out of debt, then we can start building wealth and building our future and building our legacy. So that's where we want to go, is to have a solid future financially, and then leave a legacy, for our children, or, to say that you didn't just pass through this way for naught. Build some things up that you can pass down, to your people. So, and it's not hard. You can do it. We can do it.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. We have to create legacies for our future.
Yeah.
And for future generations. And I said that I want to be the name that they say it started here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It started here. I want my generations ahead of me to have to Google and look and find out, I passed on, but it's still going, because I think about that. Like, I want to be a part of the history breakers in my life. Jamel says, yes, she agrees. We have to be can you be the history breaker financially? A lot of times our goal is to be the first one in college. I'm the first one in college. I made it. I broke it. I did it. That's it. Yeah. But now, can we
be what? Yeah.
Yes. Can we be the financial history breakers in our lives? I'm the one that helped break this, for my family, and help show the current generations, past generations, and generations to come how to live a wise financial life. So really excited to have you on.
Thank you so much.
Wisdom.net is where you can find her. We had it streaming live all through the show. Please make sure that you reach out and schedule your consultation so that you can at least get started and see where you are. Yeah. You have an opportunity. You have the right to change your life. And it is up to you to say, you know what? I need help, or I need a new strategy.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not even about, I may have money, I just don't have the strategy, because like today, it was like, wait a minute, I'm going to have to call her because all my money need a place. Every place is a home. That really got me. I'm like, yes. Hi, Adrian. How are you? So we really have to be at a place where we are financially fit, financially free, and we're not afraid to have money. We're not afraid to save money, and we're not afraid to teach others how to as well. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on. I am excited about all that God is doing in your life and in and through your business and ministry. And we are here as a support. So if you need us here at the Bomb, please call us at It's Time. Please call us. We would love to stay connected and see what you're doing. Okay.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. So guys, listen, we learned a lot today about understanding and managing our money. We learned today that it is not just about knowing what we have, but knowing where to place every dime that comes into our lives, and understand as entrepreneurs, as employees, that we have the right to wisely manage our money. So I am so glad you guys joined us. So what's next here for It's Time in the Bomb Mentoring Group? So excited. We are launching so many new things over the summer. We're excited about our upcoming retreat. We're also, that you'll hear details about soon. We're also excited about our speed networking event, our annual speed networking event, and all the things that we're doing. So stay tuned. Make sure that you are staying connected and staying tuned to who we are, what we do, and why we do it. And know that we here at the Bomb Mentoring Group, we are here to help you in business and in life when you are ready to move to that next level, when you're at that place where you're stuck and you need to know what to do with your marketing, branding, your clients. Who do I serve and why do I serve them? Check us out on thebombmentoring.com and meet us back here next Monday at 11 a.m. And we'll be posting who our next guest will be in the next couple of days. You won't want to miss this dynamic man. I'm really excited to share some space on the air with him and excited to introduce him to you. So guys, I hope you have an amazing, amazing, amazing week. And know that it is time. It's time for you to move. It's time for you to go. It's time for you to act. And it's time for you to do. This is the year of major activity. You have to be action driven and you cannot be afraid to jump. Have an amazing day, guys. And we shall talk to you soon.